This is a case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone.
The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed.
Last night's historic verdict convicting Donald Trump of felony crimes, giving way to some unprecedented territory.
Yeah, today the former president speaking out and the current president weighing in, all as the two prepare to face each other once again in November. All eyes are now looking ahead to July. That's when Trump will be sentenced, found guilty of scheming to hide payments to an adult film star to help his 2016 election.
Now, in the wake of the verdict, there's been no shortage of misinformation spreading online since the second the verdict came to be. Verify reporter Megan Bragg is standing by to help us fact check some claims that are actually being made online.
But first, NBC's Alice Barr has reaction and fallout from Washington.
With the weight of a conviction on 34 felony counts hanging over him, former President Trump today slamming the verdict, the judge, and the process, vowing to appeal what he calls a political prosecution.
It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted.
President Biden making his first comments since the verdict.
It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. The justice system should be respected, and we should never allow anyone to tear it down.
In a speech that touched on policy and personal grievances, Mr. Trump adamantly denied wrongdoing and addressed why he never testified, despite publicly saying he wanted to.
If it were George Washington, don't testify, because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong.
Republican allies rallying to the presumptive GOP nominee's defense. House Speaker Mike Johnson predicting the conviction will be overturned.
I do believe the Supreme Court should step in. Obviously, this is totally unprecedented, and it's dangerous to our system.
The Trump campaign saying a surge of post-verdict donations crashed their fundraising site.
I think this is going to actually help Trump because the people that were maybe undecided and more middle of the road probably see this as a political persecution.
To me, it's justice. It's obvious. This is how our judicial system works.
The Biden campaign accused Mr. Trump of sowing chaos, saying, quote, "This man cannot be president of the United States." The verdict's true fallout now up to voters. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
As we've mentioned before, there's a lot of misinformation on social media, specifically surrounding former President Donald Trump's guilty verdict.
And to help us find the facts and all the fiction, we turn to WCNC Charlotte's Verified reporter Megan Bragg, who's live in studio. Megan, there's a lot of chatter out there right now.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a ton. I've been going through Instagram, X, and Facebook, and I've been seeing a lot of posts like these. They claim that the judge is at fault for this guilty verdict. So we can say that this is false, and we're going to explain why using these sources. We went to the Constitution of the United States and the Department of Justice. Okay, now because this was a criminal trial under the U.S. Constitution, defendants have a case heard by a jury of their peers. The United States State Department states a judge is supposed to be impartial person in charge of that trial, and they decide what evidence can be shown to the jury, and they oversee the trial. At the end of the day, it's really the jury to decide if a defendant is guilty or not, and the judge will, however, give a sentencing and decide what that sentencing should be. So a quick note here that we also want to remind you of is that in April of 2023, in an interview on CNN, one of Trump's former lawyers said that the judge had, quote, a very good reputation. So it's just something to think about there. And guys, we love fact checking stuff. So if you have any claims that you feel need to be fact checked, you can just send them on to us.
That's great because especially it's an election year as well. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of those will be coming in. Megan, thank you.